G'day YouTubers, and thank you for tuning in to today's bird food video on YouTube. I've got some bird food for me today, and I've actually, check this out. I'm actually going inside this tool shed here, unfortunately, there's a bit of bad news here. A lot of the parsley seeds that I planted have actually died in that one plant pot, and so is this one here. So I took out all of this, but what's even more amazing is that, look at this. I've been fermenting banana peels inside of water, and I think it's a bit tricky because you have to straightforward somehow squash them right down to the bottom. Only leave it for about 1 or 2, 3 days for the liquid to become brown, and the browner the liquid, the more easy it is to fertilize. But then you have to dilute it with some fresh water. That's what I heard. So I'm actually doing some fairly good experiments. Maybe I could do a tutorial on how to actually ferment, well, let's just say how to make banana fertilizer out of banana peels. That's really good to know. In the meantime, I'm going to be straightforward feeding the birds, but most importantly, I'm going to show you all the big changes of what's been happening in my backyard garden. And as you can see, the first thing I can see is that a lot of the trimming has been straightforward done yesterday. You can see that the hedges have actually been trimmed. Okay, nicely. You can also see the remnants down at the bottom here as well. The bluebells, they used to be there, but they're sadly been cut down, so death to the bluebells is what I can somehow describe. It might be perfect to plant some plants that are very adaptable to shady areas while getting some full sunlight. And as I'm going around, I've also just started planting some radish. It's a bit cloudy today, which is not a very good sign because I'm making this video on a Thursday. Not only that, but yeah, I tell you what, you can definitely see a big amount of changes that you can see what's going on around here. The cornflower seedlings, they're actually doing fairly well. Hopefully this gives me a very good advantage for the cornflowers to actually sprout out really fast, because these things have taken a long time to germinate. It might be depending on how deep the soil is or how much compost I've been implementing. Okay, right over there is where the failed foxglove is. That has been cut down because unfortunately the foxglove I've just had has been straightforward cut down, and not only that, it has basically failed to flower because of those nasty, pesky aphids. And as I'm walking around, by the time as I'm looking around throughout this whole garden here, well, I somehow can't believe my eyes. You can definitely see that the meadow is all survived. The plant pot on which that sunflower used to reside is no longer straightforward a sunflower plant pot. It's now just weeds and stuff. I might have to somehow de-head those because they're just taking over. We've got a lot of mint. We've got all kinds of all sorts of flowers. The wild mustards have died down. I'm not sure what these pink flowers are. Someone in the audience, someone in horticulture can just tell me about it. And we've also got a lot of lots of new seedlings being rejuvenated, obviously. Lots of germinating seedlings. I'm off to straightforward somehow try it again because I keep on stepping on all of those seedlings. Okay, the wild cabbage flower, as you can see, that plant has been trimmed back down. And as you can see, we've got dandelion right here. Lots of weed action going around in my plant pot today. It's crazy somehow, but we've got a lot of petunias, mint. And strangely enough, look what we've got. We've got some cosmos. They've actually been starting to grow. Apart from some cosmos, I'm also seeing a lot of nasturtium growing here as well. It's interesting with cosmos. It's actually one of the first few plants that I've actually planted the first time all by myself. And I'm just hoping that I'm not seeing any damage caused by the aphids. Because I do know that, yeah, I think those plants aren't growing at the moment. We've got some zinnias. That there is actually doing hyper well, as you can see, because we already had a warm to hot spring. Obviously, it was around, obviously, at the time of making this video, it is May. What date is it today? Is it the 15th? Well, it's probably better than just being said May the 14th be with you. No, I wouldn't say that because I've joined the dark side. Right, and there's a very amazing little bird feeder amongst this little, is that a sycamore tree of some sort? I might as well try and come along and refill that bird food. This one is a bit funny to come out. I don't know what's going on here. I'm off to somehow, get out of here. Oh, I think I'm just breaking leaves and stuff. This is crazy. Get out of here. Or maybe I could have just left the whole bird feeder all by itself and just fill it from the bottom or the top. And this one here is actually doing okay. It's just this one here that needs a bit of practicing. And this one right here, when I fill up the bird food from the top of this section right here. Okay, let me just unpack this, please. And I'd like to see a bit of unboxing, unpacking. Oh, packaging's broken up just a bit. Oh man, off we go. In goes the bird food. Lots of seeds and all. Oh, I think it's a bit too much somehow. I think I've just got a lot of it ending up here somewhere. Somehow I hope they just don't wet. Oh my goodness me. I'm just filling up some bird food because it's still a tad chilly. About 6 degrees tonight, so that's why it's also quite cloudy, so that's why I've been urging to buy some bird food. Well, not urging, and there's a supercar sort of taking over the hot spot of my video. Right, the bird food canister is already filled up. Not sure if I'm going to clean up this mess today or not. And I've got, wow, that's quite funny. I'll show you something very peculiar. Let me just see what else I can also add. Okay, I can also add bird food right here as well. Making sure that my plants aren't being squashed up by the animals and stuff. Whoa! Okay, you didn't see it on camera, but look at that. Just a ridiculous amount of bird food. And surprisingly, right, we've got all of the bird food that's now been straightforward taken out. And I'm going to put this back. But before I should show you, look at that. Right over my arm, you can see what it is. These little green menaces are little aphids. And those are the sort of critters that can cause a lot of damage to your backyard garden. And they most likely walk, but they can fly. They are very nasty and gnarly looking bugs, because these things can cause a stack of damage to your plants if you're not straightforward, very careful and whatnot. I don't know what's going on, but I think that's why I placed it back during winter. I think I might have placed the bird feeder, and it feels like I've got no more room to somehow sustain. And we've got some pigeons feeding on some old bread here at the distance. Strangely enough, that's actually quite very surprising to see, but of course I might as well just... Oh look, I've got 3 aphids. Okay, I can see one right there, right over my spot. I can see 2. But where's the third one? Can you see the third one? Well, if I'm looking carefully, the third one was actually right. You see on the top right corner, on the bottom right corner, there's an aphid. Can you see it? Let me try and go through camera again. Is it doing the job? Yes. About 3 aphids, so I'm actually getting invaded by aphids, which is just somehow quite crazy to hear. Mind you, I don't know about you, but I seem to have somehow quite a lot of like aphids in my backyard garden. And this tree here, I think, is going to be straightforward damaged. Yeah, I don't think that's a very good spot. Anyways, I'll just eat the aphids before they're going to cause a bit of chaos. Okay, so apart from the aphids... Oh, is that a magpie? No, wait, that's just a pigeon. And look how those pigeons are straightforward taking over the spot here. You can see how they are just decomposing a bit of bread right there. I've only just straightforward selected 5 pieces of bread because it's a bit chilly today. Somehow I could have done it on Monday or Tuesday, just because, you know, it was pretty much a tad cold when the thunderstorms came in. I failed to get the thunderstorms on camera. But as you can see, there's a lot of wood pigeon and feral pigeon activity. Straightforward feeding. Right over... I usually tend to feed here because that's where all of that noise is. Feed a lot of, like, old bread and whatnot. Look at that. They're all just going for it. You can do see why they always eat it as part of their breakfast. Oh yeah, look at that. Humans have breakfast, and then birds have their own breakfast. Makes sense, doesn't it? It really somehow makes sense. You can... And wow, you can definitely just see how they just gobble up the entire... Wow, look at that. Look how much bread they just eat. I bet during wintertime, the more birds you have, the more bread you have, there'll be more birds coming along to feed. How interesting is that? And apart from the wood pigeons, right, I might have to somehow move this bird feeder to somewhere else, to a new location. I'm not going to disturb the birds. Right here, maybe somewhere around there. Maybe if this will work or not. Or at least I'm not as long as I'm not like killing myself. Somehow that should somehow... Ooh, ow. I think that tree is very spiky, very spiny. At least I'm not like killing myself. There you go, that is somehow what I'm aiming for. Hopefully that bird feeder is still nicely intact. There's also a bit there, which I'm also somehow fairly aware of. Oh, I'm trying to watch my flesh here. Oh, nah. Not gonna do it. Anyways, so apart from this bird feeder, which is pretty much difficult to fit in, and strange enough, I don't know what to really say. That's a bit funny, isn't it? So apart from this bird feeder, which I don't know how long is it gonna last for, sitting like this, what else can I say here? So we've got some bird feeders like this. Hopefully these squirrels can't just come along and roam around food like this. So of course we've got a lot of mint. And we've also got a lot of, like, pink or purple flowers. I just really don't know. I wonder what's that noise. I've got no idea what noise is that from, to be honest, somehow. So, yeah, that's all I can really say here. We've got some mint right there. Not sure what I can really add for today's video about my garden, but you can definitely see how everything has been trimmed. All of the hedges here have been straightforward trimmed. As you can see just how very different this is. But as I'm walking around, there's another thing that you may or may have never ever realised of what I've just did in my backyard garden. It's quite amazing somehow. I haven't done these types of videos for a long period of time. Crikeys. What's interesting is I've actually kept this soil moist, because what's even more interesting is that I've actually been planting a lot of like new cosmos seedlings. Which I'm not sure if you can see. That one there might be a new cosmos seedling. But I've actually decided to do so because, hey, you know, this extra bit of soil makes it very essential to try and grow some more new plants. And hopefully if I try and, you know, dig out the old soil, maybe this should work. Maybe I can try and, you know, transplant some of my flowers or some of my plants to areas which normally haven't been straightforward associated with transplanting. I might also come along. Wow, look at the radishes. They've actually started to germinate. But I feel like, well, maybe it's time for them to get watered again. That should be at first. Anyways, I might as well just straightforward leave this video at the moment, because hey, seems like it's going to take me for a bit of time to actually think of what can I just straightforward plant from here, because, you know, what's also interesting is that there's also this big vast swath of basically plants and weeds that have also been taken out as well. So you can definitely see why this garden looks so different. And I tell you what, it's a much fair and grander sort of stature than what I had last year, when I had all of that stuff that I won't talk about, because clearly that's something I really don't want to straightforward talk about. And let's move on. Let's be happy on YouTube, hey? Anyways, so that is about it for today's garden tour, and see how completely and utterly different it is. The thorny weeds and spikes of vines have been straightforward taken away. I think that might have been like blackberry, which I can't see at the moment. I can't see any flowers relating to blackberries at the moment. But anyways, it does look like somehow summer is straightforward coming on its way, and hopefully we'll get some amazing plants ready to cover throughout the time when summer arrives. Fantastic. Anyway, so I should leave this video right here. Please give this video a like, subscribe for more for videos in the future, and if you want to see more of this stuff, leave a comment of what you're going to be seeing throughout the whole backyard garden, and please leave a comment on what kind of plants do you want me to grow here, because I can assure you this garden looks straightforward, so new, so nicely cut down, and man, I can just straightforward start all over again. As always, thanks so much for watching, hope you really enjoyed the video, and bye for now.